Hi and welcome to my very awkward intro. My name is Susan/Bambi and this is Bambi's Rambles. How are we, friends? Are we good? That's good. And if you're not okay, that's okay too. For me today, I'm okay. I'm doing all right. But I do feel really unwell today. So if I'm moving a little slow, a little more rambly than usual, it is because I do not feel well. But I really wanted to get this video out anyway. So let's get straight into it. So I put out a post on my community tab talking about the technicals versus the rest of the commentary community drama. And a lot of people said that they haven't really heard of this drama, or they haven't been following it, or it's been confusing. So I thought I'd do a summary here. Offensive. I will do a summary here and then I will give you my opinions. But before we get started, I just want to give a trigger warning. I don't generally give trigger warnings, but I just feel like there are so many layers of this that I kind of want to touch on and press on, but I don't want to upset anybody. So anyway, there is my trigger warning, and I'm not, it's for a few different things as well, so I can't sit here and list all of them, but yeah, anyway, watch at your own risk, click out. I'm not offended, it is okay. So let's get straight into it. So let's start off with who Technicals is. Technicals is so we have like commentary channels, and then we have sub like topics, like sub communities. So we have the commentary community where they just talk about what's happening on Twitch, or BreadTube, or this, that, everything else. So like, you know what I mean? Like we have CoffeeZilla that talks about crypto scams when it comes to influencers. So it's the same sort of thing with Technicals, and he does that within like the Smash community. His video on the Sky House was really good. Like I really enjoyed that. So he's at about 80 something subscribe, 80,000 subscribers, but I don't know how to, like, he just has such like a name. I don't know, like my brother knows who Technicals is. My husband knows who Technicals is. They don't really know the ins and outs, but they know him, and it's really bizarre to me. But anyway, so Technicals puts out these videos where he does the detective work to find out whether someone was rightly cancelled, I guess. Build their redemption arc, clear their name. I don't know how to word it, but he just explains things in a more detective-like fashion, okay? And everyone that has done a video on this has put like black and white and suspenders and stuff on, so I just thought that I'd be different and just put the most colourful cardigan I have on. There we go. Anyway, so he brought out a video on Zero. Now, do you guys know who Zero is? Zero is a former world champion in Smash. So Smash Brothers, Smash, video games, he was a world champion. He had a team that was called Team Zero, and a YouTube channel, big online presence and things like that. And so allegations of certain things, which we will get into in a minute, came out about Zero. And so Technicals drops a video on Zero. Now this is where everything goes a little crazy, okay? This is the first part of where it goes a little crazy. This does take some turns and some twists, and people are really in their feels about this, and I just feel like I have a lot of opinions. Anyway, let me keep going. So he puts out this video on Zero, and then so obviously the commentary community, the commentary bros and all that, watch it, and I watched it as well, and basically it ends in a debate between Nick and Technicals, Nicholas Diorio and Technicals. But we will get to that, get to why, so that's where it ends up. But I'll tell you what happens in this video. You can go watch it yourself, or if you've already seen it. Essentially, and I do not want to miss anything in here because a lot of people just want to play semantics. So if I miss something, that's not intentional, that's not being dishonest, that's not anything. I am just, if I miss something and you're right, put it in the comments and I'll be like, you're right. But anyway, it doesn't really change much of what I'm thinking anyway, because whilst I'm only speaking about it now, I have been following this since like the end of last year, so I know what's going on. Anyway, so he puts out this video and he talks about the fact that Zero was accused of things from other women, okay? So from older women were saying that he was, you know, he was a player or rootin' bootin', whatever you want to call it, you know. I don't want to play into that too much because I agree with technicals and everybody here. But the next bit, the main bit that I want to talk about is the Katie story. Okay, so when we watch Technical's video on Katie, he does read out some texts, does say that he knew that she was 14 and he was 19, does acknowledge that they are bad, not great, but there was a part in there where he says, okay, we need to talk about the most serious allegation against Zero. And it is that he asked Katie, and the reason why we don't know who Katie is because Katie was anonymous. They made a tweet longer, and they showed text and things like that. But they made a reference that he was asking her as a 14-year-old, and he's 19, for photos or images of her pleasing herself with an ice cube. I'm trying to say that in the most polite way possible. And she said that she only took certain screenshots of this conversation because at the time she was like, it was for posterity, but because she was like starstruck. But then when he asked her about those, she was really uncomfortable and she never ended up sending the images. And so that comes up, okay? And before we delve into that further, this is where things get a little hairy. Trigger warning. Technicals puts in this part of the video where Zero was going to kill himself. And the confession that he made against or about Katie, where he confesses, I hope I haven't mentioned that before, he confesses and says, yes, it did happen, everything Katie said was true, I do not deserve your defense, yada yada yada. But Technicals comes in and shows us that that was the most horrific time of his life. He was going through a really dark time. He was going to hurt him. He was going to end his own life and all these sorts of things. And he's showing us all this. And then he goes to him talking about, like, goes to him on Discord talking to Zero. And Zero's obviously talking a lot about a really awful day where he was going to end his life. And then he speaks to Vanessa, who is Technical's wife. They've been married for, I think it's 4 or 5 years, and it's a really, really emotional it's a really emotional thing through that, and it took me by surprise. It obviously, Nick Diorio, augieRFC, John Swan, so many people, Bo Black, so many people had an issue with the fact that we just had this really serious allegation that he has admitted to, and you're giving us a story as to why it didn't happen, or like what, like that he's sorry, that he was just admitting it because he was going to kill himself. Like, if I was going to kill myself, I wouldn't admit to something I didn't do because I wouldn't want to go to wherever I'm going with my name slandered if I didn't do that. I don't know, that's just me, but I could be wrong. So anyway, everyone had a problem with this situation. So that was the first part. There was a bit, you know, emotionally, I don't know, like coming from someone that has lost a family member to unaliving themselves, which I really hate that word with an absolute passion. I will talk about that in another video, but that word just, oh. Anyway, I would never want someone to take their life. I would never want their family to be left without them. I know all those really heavy emotions and feelings that can cause. So I would never want that for anybody. So I'm very sympathetic to that. But at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck has this got to do with this? What's it got to do with this? Anyway, and then, you know, he reads through, so we go back to technicals, and he starts talking about how he starts going, like, I'm laughing because it's just idiotic, and everyone's gonna yell at me for that, but oh, hurts my brain. Anyway, it's back to technicals talking about these allegations and whatever, and he's like, we can't confirm who Katie is, Katie won't come forward, no images were exchanged, we have no proof, all this sort of stuff, right? And the texts that we do have, they're bad, but I don't want to label someone as a P word if they're not an actual P word. And he starts talking about, you know, he comes from, I don't know whether it was Chile or Colombia, or I don't think it was Colombia. I think it was Chile, where Zero's from. And talks about, you know, the age of consent over there, which is 14, 15. It's not great, is it? You know, and talk about how his parents were and how he basically had no parents from a very young age. He didn't go to school because he was bullied. And so him having conversations like that with a younger girl was just him not understanding boundaries and ages and all those sorts of things, okay? That is what Zero is basically saying. And that he starts reading out fucking stats about, like ridiculous, on fucking the criteria of a pedophile, right? This is what this man, oh my God. Anyway, so he starts doing that, and he's like, well, he doesn't fit into the, you know, DHM, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, well, I don't know what else to say. I just feel like saying, you know, welcome back Zero. And he started a hashtag. So that's the first part. And as I mentioned earlier, a lot of people had some issues with that. They felt like, you know, like, how can you just say welcome back? Like, why are you skating over certain things and trying to make a situation into something? I don't know. It was, I think everyone had the same sort of feeling, like we're not getting everything here. And Augie, now I want to talk about Augie for a second. Now, like, I've sent super chats in the past to Augie, and I've watched his streams, and I am a regular viewer of his channel, and whilst that is a controversial thing, I'm kind of glad that I do, because I was watching him like go up against technicals in this was really good, because he was basically saying what I'm thinking, which is we are arguing semantics and bits and pieces on who is a predator and who isn't. Like, that's a really dangerous, like, can of fucking worms. Like, do people not see that that's dangerous? And I'll talk about that more later. So he ended up, so this has been going on for a while, and there's a lot of live streams, and there's a lot of debates and things like that. So Augie and Technical's debate on, what's his name? On Keemstar's channel, so not Drama Alert, Keemstar. So on Keemstar's channel, they had a debate, whatever. And John Swan dropped a video, and in John Swan's video, he basically, like, really shows us
Katie's twit longer. I say we explore some of the missing sections to gain a better understanding of the case at hand.
Dear Zero, my name is Katie. I used to be in the Smash community. I was 14 years old during our conversations on Skype from September 2014 to January 2015. We met online when you were streaming on Twitch, and I messaged you over chat. You seemed to take an interest in me and gave me your Skype username. I, starstruck, made a Skype just for this and began chatting with you. I'll note that I was decently educated when it came to internet safety, but it mainly regarded things like don't message a stranger and whatnot. But you weren't a stranger. You were Zero, a top player. You won the E3 Invitational and several tournaments before. Having any attention from someone like you was mind-blowing to me. That's what made me an easy target. I was a young girl enraptured with the idea of being friends with someone I looked up to and admired. You used me in this state to flirt, manipulate, and ask for sexual favors from me. To remind you, this is what happened in our conversations. You called me kitty, kitten, honey, all my—
Hero even says, if we can do this sexy whatever, you know, every 2 weeks, then I'll be good. Or you're a very adorable baby hand. Or I hope you find a boy your own age and you're adorable and you're little, and just all that. Like, just, I do not give a fuck. You're 19 and you're talking to a 14-year-old that way. Why are we fucking playing semantics with that? Like, what is wrong with people? Anyway, sorry, I got a little heated then. Calm down. BX Beast Boy is going to get mad and say I'm coming at this from emotion, and I just want to let BX Beast Boy know that everyone comes from emotion. That is the human way. But if you want to come off if you want to come off intelligent, make a point. Don't just scream your buzzwords like virtue signal and moral policing and cancel culture and all these sorts of things. Like, wait till you get to hear a conversation about it before you start running around screaming at everybody saying that we're coming from emotions. Anyway, so John Swan came out with the video and he showed all those sorts of things and talked about, you know, the bits and pieces that were missing, how things were like framed in a certain way with that video, a lot of things. And again, technicals, he's not very good at debating. Not that I am, but he's not. Like, Bo Black said something in a debate and he was like, shut the fuck up, you just read tweets or something. And he's like, well, so I can't have an opinion? Like, and he's calling Nicholas Diorio fat and shit. Like, yeah, he's fluffy, but we don't have to talk about it. Like, that's not a part of what we're talking about. So that just shows that you don't have anything intellectual to say back. Anyway, so then we find out about pixeldrink. Now, I'm going to link this channel and this video down below because I watched this video and I like this channel and I think that he deserves more subs and more attention. I think he's going to be the next big thing in the commentary space. So make sure you go and subscribe. Anyway, so the pixeldrink allegations, that's what is in that video as well. So if you want to go look further into that, because I'm just giving summaries here, okay? If you want to go have a big look at that, then go ahead. So anyway, now, pixeldrink. Pixeldrink is, I think he's got like 1 million subscribers, 1 million followers on TikTok. He's he is into like gaming and anime and has like a Discord, and I think he has a YouTube channel, but I'm not entirely sure. All those sorts of, you know, he's famous. Like, what do you want me to say? Anyway, he's an influencer. He has a Discord with people that go in there, underage kids and stuff, go in there, they talk about gaming and whatever else. But he showed, so at the end of 2016, he sent a photo to a Discord group chat, and it was a photo of his thing. His, you know, and I'm not entirely sure whether he was wearing a towel on the first one or the second one, but he's a bit, you know what I mean, he's banana. Anyway, so he did that in a group chat. And he was drawing lolly porn of his Discord buddies that were underage. There's other things on the internet that you can see in that video where he's drawn suggestive art of you know, animation characters for kids, just that sort of stuff. And then he went and he did the PP thing again a few months later, so the start of 2017. So he didn't do it once, he did it twice. And if you want to see the inconsistencies between Technical Story, where he says that it would happen once and never happen again, blah, 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 was saying, well, is that why you're sticking up for technicals? And there's a really important part that I forgot that I'm going to pop in here right now. So, not only did he say he didn't fit in the he didn't fit in the category of being a P word, didn't fit in. So the only underage person that came out of how many people, was like 4 or 5, was underage, was 1, okay? And he asked his like Team Zero, Nintendo, computer, whatever it is, team, if he ever did anything inappropriate, but he asked all boys, because there were only boys in there. Said he hasn't done any of this for 7 years. It was a misjudge of character, blah, 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 blah. So he's basically has the same sort of thing with his brother, where his brother's just really inappropriate and just does weird stuff, but he doesn't mean any harm by it. Does that make sense? So he, whatever, says that about Zero, and then we have the brother stuff come out, and he says the same thing about his brother. Now, the bit that, so everyone's just up and down about it. But then Technicals came out with a video yet again talking about how there are so many situations, like the Zaptai situation, where Zaptai was lied to about some girl's age, but he did make a comment about you're worth going to jail for or something. I don't know. But I am not here to sit here and say that they're right with that, because they're not. And the thing that annoyed me about Augie, not everybody else, I don't know what anyone else said, I'm just speaking about what Augie said with this part in a high school context. I need more information on that, and I literally asked him on Twitter. I was like, oh, can I just ask you a question for a video? And I always forget that I look at things like I'm just like straightforward, like I gotta know, I want to ask a question. I don't do it to be rude. I don't do it for clout. I don't do it for anything else. I just write it. Like, I have a question for Augie that I want to put in my video, so I'm just going to ask him. But anyway, he didn't respond to me, which is fine. I'm used to that. I think people just think I'm clout chasing or something, but I'm genuinely just want to ask you a fucking question. But anyway, the high school context thing, like, it wasn't a vibe for me. Like, I didn't understand it. No. So many of us girls know that when we were 15, 16, we had 17, 18, 19-year-old boys trying to, pick us up from school and whatever else. Like, it's still a high school context, but it's not right. Anyway. So essentially, everyone was like, everyone apart from Technicals was saying that Zero does not deserve a platform. He should not be back, right? And then Technicals comes out and says, look, I don't think he should be at Smash conventions. That's gone for him. But I think he should be allowed to upload content. And John Swan, my fellow Aussie, was basically saying what I would say, which is, would you allow that for a teacher? Would you allow that for a police officer? Would you allow that for a bus driver who drives kids to and from school? Like would you just be like, oh, it's just one time, that's, it's fine, it's fine. Because who had a really big break and got married to, Zero? Josh Duggar. Do you know what I mean? That makes no sense. Maybe he got better at hiding it. I'm not accusing him of anything. But you know what? I'm a mum, okay? And before anyone says, oh, but more than just mums can talk on this. Well, yeah, everyone should talk on this. But if you're batting for that team where you think that just because he did something inappropriate once with a 14-year-old that, oh, just come back. Just come back. It's fine. You're not going to do it again, are you? You're not. All right, good. So come back. And I say this as a mother, right, of 2 boys who love YouTube, who love video games, who want their own channel, who are like so much, they're so invested in this gaming stuff, that me as a mother, me as a YouTuber, and me as a human should make sure like that they're safe in the best way that I can, right? So I know that I can monitor my child's devices. Yeah, of course. I can also not let them go online. Of course. I can make sure I know what channels they're subscribed to and not subscribed to. Of course. But if I do that for my kids, but don't get on my platform and say that there are potential risks because there've already been behaviors that show that there is, past behavior predicts future behavior. Not every time, but why not just be honest with yourself and realize that it's not worth the risk, okay? So if I just protect my kids and don't get up on my channel and say, hold the fucking phone, this person, and this person have done X, Y, and Z and are now in these communities, in Discords, in this and in that, well, what type of person does that make me? So when I see Augie and Nicholas Diorio and people like that sit there and say, this is wrong, I'm happy. Because even though they don't have children, they're not fathers, they might be one day. And they want this platform to be safe for their kids and their sisters and their brothers and their nieces, and do the right thing as a human. I don't understand the people that just want to sit around and say, oh, well, I love this person, so they can't be bad. I don't understand that personally. Like, 5 years from now, you'll have a new favorite YouTuber, and you might be a parent and you've just let your child go into a community where you're just like, send them all back, it's fine, they haven't done that much. This is what I mean about opening that fucking box. Never, like, do not open the box where we argue semantics about who is or isn't a pedophile based on the spectrum and this and that. It doesn't work that way. You're inappropriate with kids, you're inappropriate with kids. End of fucking story. Like, end of fucking story. End of story. And I know that some people were upset the other day on Twitter, mainly BXB's boy, who made a live stream about me because so Technicals put out a tweet that said that he basically went and debated the RFC Discord, and I retweeted it and I just asked, did you ask them about your brother? And he's like, why are we dragging family into this, and why are we doing this, and why are we doing that? I'm not sitting here saying that Technicals is a P or anything like that. I would never say that. Ever, 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 because I don't know that. I don't have proof of that, so I would never put that out there. But the idea that he was in the group chat and knew about it, yes, he was only in there lurking, but he knew about it not once but twice. And that's completely fine. Then we have what Zero has done, and that's completely fine. That to me just shows me that I don't have the same morals or the same just thought process about what's wrong and what's right when it comes to protecting children. I just don't think that Technicals and I share that at all. And if people get mad and get upset and say that I've dragged or whatever, that's fine. I don't care. I've just rambled this entire time anyway. But that to me makes Technicals a shitty person. And that's not someone I'd really trust their journalism, their work, their detective things, because I just feel like, how can you... I don't know. There was just I don't know. But you guys go watch all that stuff and see what you think. And if I gave a really good summary, let me know, because it's the first time I've ever tried to do like that. And I didn't realize I'd wake up sick this morning. So anyway, Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, send a pigeon, keep the same energy, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Mwah! Bye!